Hi guys, welcome back with another video. In today's drama, a superstar, a high school girl, and a hidden romance. To give us a bit of context, the story revolves around Hinana Hanazawa, an ordinary student who stands out and takes her studies very seriously as she strives to be good at everything she does. This is something we see not only at school but also at home, because her love for her family is as great as her devotion to her studies. On top of that, Hinana has two best friends, Hikari and Akira. The latter has been in love with her since childhood, but our girl has never noticed. Hinana tells us a bit about her daily routine. Since her parents own a popular restaurant, they are always working tirelessly to please all their customers, which means our protagonist often finds herself taking care of her little sister, waking her up in the morning, making her breakfast, and even walking her to school. Yes, Hinana is everything good in the world. But one night, as her little sister, who loves romantic movies and fairy tales, was expecting a bedtime story, Hinana told her the classic tale of Cinderella. However, her sister didn't pay attention and instead pointed to the TV, showing that she had just seen a real-life Prince Charming. Upon hearing this, Hinana blushed and experienced love at first sight with the leading man in the movie, Kaede, a famous actor and former member of a well-known K-pop band. Kaede's good looks, charm, and talent have earned him a huge following, especially among teenage girls who adore him. This was something Hikari had mentioned to Hinana before, but since she was always buried in her studies, she didn't even know Kaede existed until now, when she saw him on TV and started dreaming about having a prince charming like him. As fate would have it, that same night, Hinana received a call from Hikari, who told her that their school had been chosen as the filming location for Kaede's new movie. Even better, they were looking for extras, and all the students were eligible to participate. Hearing this, Hinana jumped for joy and eagerly told Hikari to add her name to the list. The next day, Hinana, Hikari, and the other students lined up to start filming. They were instructed to act like regular students working in a laboratory. While Hikari was ecstatic to meet Kaede, Hinana tried to keep her emotions in check. But when it was their turn to enter the lab, Hinana, distracted, accidentally bumped into Kaede, leaving her completely stunned. He apologized and went on with the shoot, while she remained frozen in shock. To top it off, Kaede flashed a charming smile, making her knees go weak. After filming, the girls chatted about Kaede. Hikari asked if Hinana had seen him up close, but she played it cool, saying she hadn't even looked at him. Hikari told her to make sure she did next time and left. Soon after, Hinana saw an empty can on the ground and approached to throw it away, only to spot Kaede watching the school cheerleaders. That's when she discovered his less than chivalrous side. As she tried to leave, she tripped, unintentionally revealing her backside. Kaede noticed and, with interest, remarked, "It's 86. Embarrassed, she ran off. Later at home, she measured herself and found that Kaede had been right. She began wondering what kind of Prince Charming he really was. That afternoon, Hinana went to the mall to try and win a plush toy for her sister, but failed repeatedly. On her last try, a guy appeared behind her, giving her tips. Thanks to his help, she succeeded, only to turn around and find it was Kaede. Shocked, she blurted out his name, which drew the attention of nearby fans. Kaede quickly grabbed her hand and led her outside. Once in a safe spot, she asked what he was doing at the mall. He said he had to film later, but needed some motivation. She smiled and promised not to tell anyone about his fascination with backsides. Before leaving, he noticed her broken shoe and smiled. That evening, she made it to her movie on time, still thinking about him. To her surprise, Kaede showed up to watch the same film. Hinana mentioned she loved romantic movies, especially Cinderella. Afterward, Kaede offered her his shoes. Having noticed hers were broken, she initially refused, but eventually accepted. The next day at school, chaos erupted in the hallways. Kaede had arrived. Ignoring the screaming fans, he walked straight to Hinana and handed her a new pair of shoes, kneeling to put them on her and saying it was like the fairy tale she had dreamed of. Later, outside the school, she tried to return the shoes from before, but he instead wrote his phone number on her hand, telling her to call so he could learn her name. That night, she called, but the number was out of service. Meanwhile, Kaede was having dinner with his ex-girlfriend Yu, also a famous actress. They were on good terms, soon to star together in a romantic movie. Hinana, on the other hand, was fuming, scrubbing the false number off her wrist. While Kaede was dining with Yu, Hinana was furious, washing the fake number off her wrist and thinking he was just playing with her feelings. Back in Kaede's van on the way to a shoot, his manager warned him to think twice before doing anything in public, reminding him that as an actor, public image is everything and bad press could jeopardize his career. Kaede brushed him off, suddenly spotting Hinana walking down the street. Without hesitation, he jumped out of the van and caught up to her, asking why she hadn't called him. She explained that she had showing her call history. Realizing he had given her his old number, Kaede reached for her phone to give her the current one, but Hinana, heartbroken, snatched her phone back and told him not to play with her emotions, admitting she used to like him but wasn't interested anymore. As she turned to leave, Kaede grabbed her arm, saying it was good to have expectations. Then, without warning, he kissed her through his mask. Hinana stood frozen, shocked, as Kaede confessed he had wanted to know her name from the moment they met. It had been love at first sight. Overwhelmed, Hinana finally told him her name. The next day, she carefully chose an outfit. She had a date with Kaede, but Akira, holding a bouquet of flowers, saw her excitement and couldn't understand what was happening. When Kaede's van arrived, Hinana got in, curious about where they were going. Kaede told her to wait and see. He took her to his luxurious apartment. Hinana was impressed by the size, and Kaede admitted he'd never brought a girl home before. They spent the afternoon talking, looking at pictures from his former band, and having lunch. Later, Kaede suggested watching a movie. Pretending to fall asleep, he caught Hinana off guard when she shyly tried to touch him, only for him to suddenly turn playful and flirtatious, showing his more daring side. Just as things were heating up, his manager barged in, angrily demanding to know who she was. To Hinana's shock, Kaede introduced her as his girlfriend. The manager's jaw dropped when he learned she was 16, scolding Kaede for risking his career, but Kaede dismissed his warnings. The next day, Hinana was over the moon, daydreaming about being his girlfriend. Her joy didn't last. Kaede texted saying he'd be busy filming and couldn't see her for a while. With free time, Hinana helped Akira at his father's flower shop. Out of nowhere, Akira confessed his love and joked about marrying her. She brushed it off. Soon after, she was sent to deliver flowers to a film studio, only to see Kaede kissing Yu. Though it was part of a movie scene, Hinana was devastated. Kaede noticed her leaving and chased after her, assuring her not to worry about the film. She promised not to interfere with his work. As a reward for her understanding, Kaede playfully nibbled her nose and told her no other guy was allowed near her. However, Yu witnessed this and didn't seem happy. Days later, Kaede invited Hinana on another date, but she politely refused. It was Akira's birthday, and they were celebrating at her house. Kaede said he had a plan. That night, much to everyone's shock, Kaede showed up at the party and announced they were dating. Hikari was thrilled, but Akira was crushed. Alone with Kaede later, Akira warned him not to toy with Hinana's feelings. Kaede assured him he was serious. Akira declared he wouldn't give up. The next day, Hinana visited Kaede's apartment. Upon entering, she found him half-dressed. Teasing her, he handed her a key to his place, telling her to come anytime she felt lonely. Her happiness was immeasurable. But a few days later, while dining alone, Kaede saw members of his old band who coldly ignored him. That night, he remembered the good times, but also how his decision to quit the band for acting had hurt them. Back at school, Hinana overheard girls gossiping about how Kaede would surely get back together with Yu. Feeling insecure, she admitted to a friend that she stood no chance against someone like Yu, beautiful and glamorous. Still, Hinana decided to fight for her love. When she went to visit Kaede's apartment, she noticed a pair of high heels. Moments later, her heart shattered. She ran out, Kaede chasing after her. Hinana accused him of playing with her feelings and refused to listen. Heartbroken, she stayed in bed until Akira visited, hugging her from behind and advising her to forget Kaede. He then confessed his own feelings, leaving her speechless. Days later, Hinana ran into Yu, who asked her to stop seeing Kaede because she wanted him back. Hinana reluctantly agreed, believing she wasn't a match for Yu. But when Yu realized Hinana's feelings were genuine, she told her the truth. Kaede had rejected her, and the kiss Hinana saw was one-sided. Yu decided to step aside and let their love continue. That night, Kaede visited Hinana, apologizing and confessing he had fallen more in love with her every day. Since he couldn't be seen in public with someone due to his status, he rented out an entire amusement park for the two of them. They rode roller coasters, carousel horses, and shared ice cream. Before leaving, Kaede gave her a necklace with a tiny glass slipper charm, saying he was happy to be her boyfriend. Their love grew stronger with time. But trouble came when the media reported Kaede was dating a high school girl. Even with her face blurred, his career was at risk. On his way to Hinana's house with a birthday gift, his manager called to break the news. Surrounded by reporters, Kaede stayed silent, which only fueled the scandal. The next morning, Kaede's manager visited Hinana, revealing the real reason Kaede Kaede left his band. It wasn't for acting, but because of a throat condition that required surgery, making it impossible for him to continue singing. The manager promised to support Kaede's dreams, but Hinana, feeling guilty for the trouble she'd caused, decided to end things. Meeting Kaede, she thanked him for being her first love, but said it was time to end their little fairy tale, on her birthday no less. Days later, Kaede held a press conference, admitting he had dated a high school girl, but vowing it would never happen again. He would focus solely on his career. Hearing this, Hinana's heart shattered. She went to the rooftop to be alone, where Akira found her, hugging her from behind and offering comfort. 3 years later, Kaede won an international award, one of the few Japanese actors to achieve such success. Among his gifts, his manager found a letter from Akira. In it, Akira revealed that even after they broke up, Hinana couldn't stop watching Kaede's movies and seeing him everywhere. Akira admitted he wasn't the right person for her. Kaede was. Along with the letter was a movie ticket for her favorite film. Kaede rushed to the cinema but arrived too late. Disappointed, he headed home, only to find Hinana coming down the stairs. Shocked to see each other after 3 years, Kaede told her he had promised himself that when he became a man worthy of her love, he would return to find her. He handed her a birthday gift, a pair of sparkling shoes, symbolizing his wish for them to walk into a beautiful future together. Hinana accepted